After hearing Mr. Tommy Lee and Mr. Jose explain exactly what ACN is doing, not just in Hawaii but worldwide, I absolutely love coming out to Hawaii. I believe this is my probably like 50th trip out to Hawaii. Prior to ACN, I've never been to Hawaii. You know, and you live here, so you may not know, but everybody else around the world, it's their dream to come to Hawaii one time before they die. It's on everybody's bucket list, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, and I used to dream about coming to Hawaii once, and now because of ACN, I've been here probably like 50 times. Is that crazy? Like having your dream happen like 50 times. That's kind of crazy, right? And I'm so thankful that somebody like Mr. Tommy Lee, which is the gentleman that, if it wasn't for him, there would be no ACN Hawaii. He was the very first person in the state of Hawaii who took ACN seriously and took leadership and launched products and services in this market. And now, because of his commitment 7.5 years ago, now tens of thousands of customers in the state of Hawaii gets to benefit ACN products and services. And because of him, now thousands of independent business owners, just like yourselves, have an opportunity to have a plan B in their lives and be able to create additional income or maybe even replace their full-time income as well. So let's give Mr. Tommy Lee a big hand to show our appreciation for doing this. I'm going to just spend the next few minutes sharing some ideas with you that's going to help you to start your ACN business properly. Now, here's the way I look at it. Anything worth doing, it's worth doing well. If you're not going to do well, might as well not do it. That's been my philosophy for many, many years. So if you're taking a look at ACN opportunity for the first time, or maybe you got started last few weeks or last few years or last few months of time, you know, starting tonight, I want to share some ideas with you that's going to help you to do ACN well and start creating some results in your ACN opportunity so you could go out there and help other people to benefit from our products and services, as well as create additional income opportunity for yourself and many other people in the state of Hawaii. Okay, but before that, so we're not complete strangers, I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Korea, moved out to the United States 18 years ago, to Las Vegas 18 years ago, been living out there for 18 years, and I've been traveling, you know, because of ACN opportunity for last almost 10 years now. And make the long story short, 13 years ago, when I was just a college student working at Starbucks, making $8.50 an hour, not speaking English well because it was my 5th year in America, somebody gave me a call and invited me to a meeting just like this. And prior to that, I've never even been to a business meeting. And prior to that, I probably never even met a millionaire. And I remember going to that meeting not even knowing what to expect. You know, isn't it crazy that in our lives, a lot of times, in a unique way you meet someone, or in a unique way something happens and that changes your life? Is that kind of weird? I mean, how many of you are married by show of hands? And if we could go around and hear everybody's story, a lot of us probably met our spouse in a very unique way. And you probably didn't know you were going to meet that person before you met that person. Maybe somebody introduced that person, or maybe we went to school together, or maybe you met them at a job, or whatever it was. You didn't even know that person before you met them, but because of that little relationship, now there's a bunch of little yous running around. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. I got 3 little kids. I mean, I met my wife 12.5 years ago, and I would have never thought when I first asked her out on a date that we were going to have 3 of our little ones running around, right? You know, the same thing. 13 years ago when I came to a meeting just like this, when I sat down, I only had 2 thoughts in my mind. Well, number 1, how long is this meeting going to be? And number 2, when am I going to eat after this? That's all I was thinking when I was sitting there. And thankfully, the person that explained the opportunity to me shared some ideas like Mr. Tommy Lee did with us tonight. And when he talked about getting paid on people's bills and getting paid on things that I'm already paying, I mean, it started to make sense. And I said, hey, you know what? I'd be silly to at least not pay attention and give this a try. And one of the concepts that he shared with me that night that really got me to think differently was this. He said, he used the map of Las Vegas and California, but I changed it to Oahu so you could understand it better. We're in Honolulu right now, right? Correct? Yeah. Let's just say we want to go out to, where is that? Waipahu? Is that how you say it? Waipahu? How do you say it? Waipahu. Okay. Yeah, I'm not lying. Obviously. Okay. We're in Honolulu right now. Let's just say we want to go to Waipahu. Now, we got different ways we could get there. We could use a different tool, meaning maybe we could ride bicycles. Any of you ever done a bicycle ride from Honolulu to Waipahu? Any of you? Nobody? How long would that take? Now it is possible to do, right? How long would that take? 3 or 4 hours, maybe. Okay. Or maybe in 21st century they have this vehicle tool called cars, that we could ride cars. And how long would that take? 10 minutes? How long? I thought I was the only guy that didn't know. You guys don't know either. I guess you're on the same page. All right. It's going to take some time. But you can get there in a car ride, right? Or maybe back in the days, before cars or those things were invented, people used to probably go there riding horses. That would probably take a long time too. Or even before that, a lot of people used to probably walk there. Now, it's a choice of a tool. Like, how are you going to get there? It's the same destination. I'm here. That's where I want to go. It depends on what kind of vehicle I decide to use, what tool I decide to use. That's going to determine how long it's going to take me, how hard the journey is going to be. Are you guys following me so far? And how much energy it's going to be required for me to invest into getting myself from point A to point B. So my mentor said, Danny, you got to look at where you're working right now. Whatever you're working right now, whatever you're doing right now, you just got to ask yourself, what's your dreams? Like, what do you want to do with your life? He said, Danny, what if money wasn't an issue in your life anymore? See, I didn't even know how to think about getting wealthy because I've never even been in an environment of talking about rich or wealth when I was growing up. Does that make sense? So my mentor said, Danny, let's not even talk about that, but did you have any stress that happened in your mind within the last 30 days that was caused by lack of finances? And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I had a lot of stresses that was caused by lack of finances. And I started thinking about it, not just me. How about my mom and dad? They love each other. They've been married for almost, 35 years. And they're incredible people. And they love each other, but they're always arguing or having pretty sensitive conversation with one another because of stresses that was caused by lack of finances. And my mentor said, Danny, how would you like to get rid of those stresses in your life? What if you could just get rid of those stresses in life, financial stresses that's caused by lack of finances? Would that be a better lifestyle for you? I said, yeah, that would be a dream. He said, so Danny, whatever vehicle you're using right now, 13 years ago, for me, it was working in Starbucks. He said, how long would it take you, using the vehicle you're in right now, to get to that destination of you living a life, getting rid of stresses that's caused by lack of finances? I thought about it for a second. I said, about 380 years. He said, we're not living in Old Testament. You don't live that long no more. So how many people that's 380 years old? I said, none. He said, so simply, you're telling me, he said, but now here's the deal. If cars are available, why would you ride a horse? He said, if you could get there in 10 minutes of time, why would you take 4 days to get there? I said, it wouldn't make sense. Now, it's one thing if it's not available, but if it is available, why not? And once that was explained to me, I realized that I had to pick the right vehicle. And he said, Danny, some people even think bigger than that. Yes, within a while, you could go from Honolulu to Waipahu or however you pronounce that thing. But what if you think even bigger? Some of us think bigger. Some of us have big dreams. Any of you have some big dreams? Any of you have some big goals? Like, if I give you a black American Express credit card that has no limit, you could buy whatever you want. You could buy whatever house you want. There's nothing that you cannot charge on the car. What would you do with it? What would you buy and what would you experience? What would you do for your loved ones? You see, that's thinking big, right? And he said, it's like this. If you're going from Hawaii all the way to the mainland, these tools won't cut it. Can you get to California in a Ferrari? Yes or no? No. Can you get to California on a horse? No. You can't get there bicycle or walking. Even if you're as good as Tommy Lee is in swimming, you ain't going to make it there without any tool. You need a boat or you need an airplane. And he said, Danny, becoming financially independent, maybe you can make $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year at a job, but if you want to go out there and really be financially independent and have time freedom at the same time, like Tommy was talking about earlier, you're going to need a business that you can work for yourself where you can control how much you get paid. Here's the reality. In corporate America, you don't decide how much you get paid. Is it not true? They decide how much you get paid. That's why it's impossible. Being the boss, you get to decide how much you're worth. You get to decide how much you're going to make and how much you deserve to get paid. And that's why ACN became the vehicle for me. And here's the second thing it explained to me, and hopefully you'll pay attention to the way that I did or Tommy did many years ago that helped us to really redirect the direction of our lives. He said, think about it like this. Do you know that there are many people out there in this world that are dumber than you making more money than you? I thought about it. I said, I know a lot of people that are dumber than me making more money than me. How many of you know some people that are dumber than you making more money than you? By show of hands. How many of you guys are looking at me right now thinking exactly that right now? Yeah, I met like 2 of them tonight. You and Tommy. So you're thinking that's not nice. Don't think that. You know what I mean? You just met me. That's not nice. Well, not me, but think about people you know, right? And he started asking me these questions like I've never thought about before. He said, Danny, do you know there are people out there, they don't even have a work ethic that you have, but they make more money than you. See, there are people out there, they're not even a good person. They're not even a good human being. They lack integrity. They lack character. And they're not even as good of a person as you are, but they make more money than you. And as he started asking me these questions, I started thinking about it. I'm like, holy cow, I know a bunch of people that are not as sharp as me. He said, Danny, there are people uglier than you making more money than you. I'm like, whoa! But once he pointed those things out, I realized that's true. How many of you guys could agree with me that's true? He said, do you know why that is? I said, I don't. He said, it's simply because they picked the right vehicle. They have a different vehicle. I said, what do you mean by that? Let me give you an example. What's your name, sir? Tim. Everybody say hello, Tim. Hello, Tim. Nice to meet you, Tim. Tim, don't worry. This is not an AA meeting. You don't have to get up and explain yourself and all that. Don't worry. You're fine, okay? Now, we have, what's your name? Kyle. Kyle? Carl? Kyle's fine. Okay, all right. He's probably from Waipahoo. It's like, this Korean dude can't even pronounce better than me. And he makes more money than me. That's what he's doing. Okay, we got Kyle here. I mean, we got Tim here. Let's just say Kyle here is a professional racer. He knows how to race. He's like F1 driver, right? And let's just say Tim here is an average driver. He knows how to drive, but he's not a professional racer. We put them on a racetrack, Speedway in Las Vegas. Who do you think is going to win? Our initial thought is, of course, professional racer Kyle is going to win because he's a better driver. But what if we give them different vehicles to drive? What if we give Tim a brand new 2013 sports car, a Ferrari to drive, and we give Kyle a 1979 Toyota Corolla to drive? And we put them on a racetrack. Now, in that scenario, who do you think is going to win? It's obvious Tim's going to win, but who's a better driver? Kyle's a better driver. See, I realize that in life, it's all about what kind of vehicle you have. You could be the smartest guy, you could be the hardest working guy, you could be the most genuine person there is in the world and still not be able to win the races in life simply because your vehicle isn't designed to take you there. Wow. See, I realized when I looked at ACN, it wasn't my fault, it wasn't me that it's not that I wasn't working hard enough. It's not that my parents wasn't working hard enough. That's not why we were not multimillionaires. It's because I was in our vehicle. It didn't matter how hard I worked, how much skills I developed, it was impossible. The vehicle wasn't designed to go more than 80 miles per hour. But when they put an average guy like me that used to work at Starbucks 13 years ago making $8.50 an hour and $320 is all I had in my bank account, they put an average guy like me in Ferrari of life, which is ACN, business opportunity as a vehicle. When they put me in ACN, and I put the same work ethic I had working at Starbucks,
My car, instead of going 80 miles per hour, started going 200 miles per hour. And a kid that had $320 in his bank account in early 20s became a millionaire. And I was sure that to brag about me, because if you kept me at Starbucks still today, I wouldn't even have 320 in my bank account with 3 kids. You know what I'm saying? You know that's true. So I'm not bragging about me, I'm bragging about ACN vehicle, ACN opportunity, and that same opportunity is available for every single one of you here tonight. If you just decide to use this, not even at plan A. Now let's talk about this and we'll move on. He said, Danny, here's the beauty about ACN. Traditionally, if you want to go out there and own a business for yourself, you got to quit what you're doing. Like if you have a full-time job, if you want to open up a restaurant, you can't open up a restaurant part-time. You got to put all the money you have, and you got to put all the time you got. You can't go out there and open up a restaurant and say, I'll work 9 to 5, so I'm opening at 6. You can't put a sign up like that. That restaurant isn't going to do well. Would you agree with that? So in traditional business world, you got to commit everything. But in ACN, you could start without jeopardizing anything you're doing right now. He said, Danny, but it's like having a spare tire. If you're going to go from Honolulu all the way to Waipau, which is not that far, think about it. You wouldn't drive, well, maybe Waipau you would, but what's the furthest from here? The North Shores, is that like the furthest from here? How far is that? 1 hour. Maybe 60 miles or 50 miles or whatever the distance is. Would you drive out there without a spare tire in your car?
Yes.
She would, okay. It's kind of hard to give this example in Hawaii because he's so small, you know what I'm saying? Usually in the mainland I talk about going from Las Vegas all the way to LA. It's like a 300-mile drive, right? Would you take that drive, would you drive long distance without having a spare tire in your car? You usually wouldn't. You wouldn't even go a 5-hour journey without a spare tire, even if you had a brand new tire. Here's the reason why. You could have a brand new tire, good condition tire, but outside influences could still pop your tire. Is it not true? You could have a pothole, you could have nails, you could have glass on the road, and it will still pop your tire, and you don't want to be stuck there. So my mentor said, Danny, you wouldn't go a 5-hour journey without a spare tire, but why are you living your life with an additional 50-year journey or 80-year journey without a financial spare tire in your life? See, you could have a good job right now, you could have a good business right now, but reality is, outside influences can affect your current tire and pop it, not by your choice. Now, we don't want that to happen to anybody. Tommy went through the list of a lot of things that happened in the last few years because of the economy change. The economy could change, market could change, competition could change. So by those things happening, you could have a good job and tomorrow be out of job. And all of us probably know at least 1 or 2 people that used to do well financially 7 years ago, today having a hard time paying their mortgage payment. How many of you guys know at least one person like that by show of hands? Just be honest, it's okay. So reality is, if they all had a plan B 7 years ago, wouldn't they feel better about their life today, yes or no? Of course. So today, if you're looking at ACN for the very first time, you just got to ask yourself, why would I not take on a spare tire in my life? If my tire pops right now, how would I take care of my family? Especially if you got family in your car. See, when those questions were asked towards me 10 years ago, I got excited and I said, hey, I'll be silly not to take on this project. I made a decision just like you, many of you have, and many of you are tonight. I got started in ACN. And I started a new journey. And here's what he said. I'm going to roll this out very fast because we don't have much time. He said, number 1, in ACN, you've got to understand why ACN is that vehicle for you. Number 1, you're the boss. You decide how much you're worth. How many of you, prior to ACN, felt overworked and underpaid? By show of hands. How many of you would underpay you if it was you're the one deciding how much you're getting paid? None of us would. So you're the boss. You decide. Number 2, it's residual. We heard it throughout the presentation. One-time work, multiple times paid. There are customers that I connected 10 years ago, I still get paid on. One-time work 10 years ago, every month I get paid. 12 times a year, I got paid 120 times for work I've done 10 years ago. That's nuts! Number 3 is leverage. Leverage is good. J. Paul Getty said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's effort rather than 100% of my own. I couldn't agree more. My mentor said, Danny, one of the reasons why you were broke is because you only got paid on you. Every wealthy people in this world got paid on other people's effort. You were the only one against it. Matter of fact, a lot of business owners teach their employees how bad that concept is because they don't want you to leave them. He said, of course, Bill Gates is going to make billions of dollars. He has hundreds of thousands of people who works 8 hours a day that he gets paid on. Millions of hours worth of work gets done each day that he gets paid on. How could he not make billions? If you're busy right now, if you have 10 business partners, if they all invest 1 hour a day in ACN, you can invest 1 hour a day in ACN. You could have 10 business partners that invest 1 hour a day in ACN. You're investing 1, you're getting paid on 11. Nice. Is that a better concept than working at Starbucks, yes or no? Yes. So the fact that you have leverage, it's powerful, and you want to build your team as fast as you can, and we talked about it. Number 4, the fact that it's network marketing is a huge advantage. Now, I'll tell you my story. I didn't even know what network marketing was when I first came to a meeting like this. That's how ignorant I was. I got excited, I got started, I went home. My dad knew about network marketing. See, when I got started, when I signed up, they told me, Danny, you haven't been trained yet, you don't know what to say, so don't talk to anybody about this yet until you get trained. So come to training this weekend, and until then, don't talk to anybody about it because you don't want to misrepresent what we're doing. I said, okay. I got home. My dad was at the door. He said, Danny, where'd you come from? I said, they told me not to tell you. He said, what do you mean? Tell me what's going on. I said, they told me not to talk about it until this weekend. I said, Danny, I'm your father. I deserve to know. You better tell me right now. I said, all right, sit down, Dad. I grabbed the paper. I got a pen. I drew a circle. I said, this is me. I paid $499. And I got a business going now, Dad. And I drew 3 other circles. And I said, I'm going to find, this is you. This is my brother, this is my friend, and you're going to get customers, you're going to pay your $499, we're going to start a business, and Dad, you don't have to work at dry cleaners anymore, we're going to get wealthy, I'm going to buy you a Mercedes, I'm going to retire you, I'm going to buy a Lamborghini, we're going to be rich, and we're going to be happy. This is the reason why we moved to America. What do you think my dad said? His first question was, Danny, did you pay that $499? I said, yup. He said, do you have the guy's number who signed you up? I said, yup. He said, you better go get your money back, man. He said, those things never work. He said, he told me a list of things. And at the end, he said, I'll kick you out of the family if you do something like that. He said, I didn't bring you to America to join one of those things. You better study hard. You got to go out there and pay attention. He said, he'll kick me out of the family if I do this. Now, do you think he's glad that I didn't listen to him that day? My goal for getting started in ACN was to retire my parents. Because my dad sacrificed everything from Korea just so we could move to the United States so we could have an opportunity and live in a land of opportunity. It took me exactly 2 years and 3 months of hard work to retire my parents, and I've been cutting on a check almost $10,000 every single month. I've been paying them. It's been over 8 years. Now, what's exciting about that is I just doing the calculation with my wife 2 days ago. Almost 10 grand a month for 8 years is almost $1 million. Now, and he's probably going to be alive for another 40, 50 years. He's only late 50s. And that's a lot of millions. I wasn't thinking that when I was... You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking 10 grand a month. I was thinking about 50 years. I'm just like, I'm still going to take care of him. But do you think he's glad that I didn't listen to him that night? See, a lot of people around me were trying to be negative because it was network marketing because they didn't understand. See, people are afraid and negative about things they don't understand, and that's normal. But what I understood after I actually understood the industry, my mentor said, Danny, do you realize only reason an average person like you even have an opportunity like this is because it's network marketing. So think about it. If it's not network marketing, how can an average person in Hawaii have a chance to get paid when somebody in New York is paying their electricity bills? How? You know when you open up your online store tonight for $499 and you get your business started, do you know it operates in 23 countries in all their languages, even if you don't speak German? Somebody in Germany could go to your online store. It will be in German, which you don't understand. They would click on electricity, they could click on phone, and they could order the service, and when they pay euro to their electricity bill in Germany, you get paid in dollars in your bank account in Hawaii. Now, if it's not network marketing, how would that even be possible? It won't be. If you're just wealthy, powerful entrepreneur, if you want to go out there and be in the business of energy in Europe or US, it will cost you tens of millions of dollars, plus the right connection and network, and a lot of time invested, and still a big risk to carry even getting into it. Would you agree with that? But because it's network marketing, you have that opportunity. And last but not least, the reason ASIN is the right vehicle for you is because of the leadership we have in place in especially the state of Hawaii. See, Mr. Tommy Lee is not just one of the regional vice presidents in ASEAN, he's one of the best regional vice presidents in ASEAN, soon to be a senior vice president. His leadership is absolutely unmatched anywhere. His work ethic and his character and his integrity and how much he cares about this incredible team out in the state of Hawaii is unmatched anywhere. I mean, think about it. In Hawaii, having Kauai and Maui, I mean, do you know that in the last 3 days combined, we've been in front of almost 1,000 people in Hawaii that's already involved, active, doing things in ASEAN, in just events in 3 islands, not even all the islands? And all of that started because of his leadership. Do you think he knows what he's doing, yes or no? Yes. And all you have to do is follow his steps, and he's going to take you there. Let's give Mr. Tommy Lee another big hand for him. And it's not just Mr. Tommy Lee. We have Chris, we have Robert, we have Kenji, we have Tama, we have Jose, we have Cheryl, and you don't start naming people, like you forget about it. I know them all, just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, like, we have a lot of leaders here that are doing incredible things that you could work with, and they will help you every step of the way. Let me tell you one thing about this, and we'll move on to the next couple of slides, and we're done. A lot of people get started in ASEAN, and in the beginning, the mistake they made, just like I did, was that they worry, and they have doubts, like, well, what if I don't make it? Can I really make it? They start having those thoughts. Let me give you an example that will really help you to understand, okay? I'm sorry, what's your name? Michi? Everybody say hello, Michi.
Hello, Michi.
Now, do you live in Honolulu? Kailua, is that on Oahu? Kailua, how far is that from here? 30 minutes. She lives in Kailua. Now, how long have you been living there?
4 years.
4 years, okay. Now, she's been living there 4 years. I don't know where that is. I've never been there. Now, do you know how to get to your house from here? She probably does. Let's just say she goes home at least 6 days a week. Probably every day. 4 years of time, 365 times 4 is like, she's been there like 1,400 times, or almost 1,500 times, right? So she knows, she's a master of how going home from here. I've never been there. She invites me over to her house. She's in front of my car, and she said, follow me. I just get behind her, and I'm just following her car. Question for you. Just because I've never been there, should I be scared? Should I say, well, what if I don't make it? As I'm following her, I say, well, what if I don't make it there? Like, can you agree with me that it would be silly to even have those thoughts? Here's what I know. She's professional at getting there. Matter of fact, she could fall asleep halfway and she would still make it there. Isn't that true? Don't hold us long to get to our house, half asleep. She knows how to get there. She's been there thousands of times. All I have to do is get right behind her and follow her. In ASEAN, Mr. Tommy Lee is a master at this. Jose's a master at this. Sharon Michoka is master at this. Chris is master at this. Robert's master at this. Many of the leaders in the room are master at this. They've done it thousands of times. They've already taken hundreds of people to get started and get promoted to leadership positions. All you have to do, you don't have to worry, you don't have to doubt. No, all you have to do is get behind them, go to trainings like this that's available, just drive and do exactly. If they make a left turn, make a left turn. If they make a right turn, just make a right turn. And if you could do that, every single one of you could get to where you want to go in ASEAN because the roadmap is already there in place. Does that make sense? And that's the power of leadership we have here in Hawaii. 2014 is going to be incredible for the state of Hawaii. We're going to have so many success stories created in year 2014, it's not even funny. I can actually promise you, you can mark my word, you could come talk to me about it December 31st of 2014. I'll talk to you about it. I'm telling you right now, 2014, there will be more success stories created in the year 2014 in state of Hawaii than last 5 years combined. There will be more team coordinators promoted in state of Hawaii and more regional directors promoted in state of Hawaii and more regional vice presidents promoted in state of Hawaii next year than last 5 years combined. We don't have time to go over reasons on why, but I can tell you that's the timing of where we are right now, and you have an opportunity to participate. Now, we have 2.5 months before 2014 begins, and my mentor always says success is a direct result of preparation, meaning opportunity. If you want to be part of that movement and success momentum that's going to happen next year, you want to get started tonight and go out there and position yourself next 2.5 months to capitalize on all the great things that's going to happen in this market. As we wrap it up, we don't have time to go over all this, but as we wrap it up, here's what I want to share with you. If you make a decision tonight to get started in ACN, here's what I'll tell you. Just like anything else in life, you're going to go through some ups and downs. See, if you don't package it and hype it up to people and say it's easy and you don't have to do anything and you're going to win, no, that's not the case at all. How many of you are married once again? How many of you are married? How many of you could agree with me? In your relationship with your spouse, you have some ups and downs. Person you love the most, you have ups and downs with. Is it not true? Some days you can't wait to see him or her and kiss her and hug her, but some days you can't wait to not see him or her. How many of you know exactly what I'm talking about by show of hands? How many of you wanted to raise your hand, but your spouse is sitting right next to you and you didn't want to get beat up tonight, so you didn't raise your hand? I got 3 kids, and let me tell you something. There are days that I can't wait, I tell my wife, he's my son, she's my daughter. There are days like, he's your son. There are days you can't wait to see him and hug him and kiss him. There are days you can't wait to kill him. How many of my parents know exactly what I'm talking about? Johnson Maxwell said, grandkids are God's gift to you for not killing your kids. You're going to go through ups and downs. Doesn't matter what job you have. Doesn't matter what business you have. You have ups and downs. Isn't that true? There are rainy days. There are sunny days. In ACN, you have ups and downs. I had a guy today. He's like, well, Danny, I think ACN's hard. No. Your life is hard. ACN's easy. Finding a couple people that wants to make more money and finding a few other people to try out services we have, that's easy to do. Your life is hard. In life, anything you do, you're going to have ups and downs. And it's normal. And a lot of people think downtime means tough time. No, downtime simply means that you're alive. Here's the last picture I'm going to show you and I'm done. You guys know what that is? When you go to the hospital and plug yourself in, you hope that that thing's going up and down. Because if it's flat, you know what that means? That means you're dead. In life, if you don't have up and down happening in your life, that means you're dead. I wrote a book, I read a book that talked about how average Americans die at the age of 25. Because they stopped dreaming. They were dreaming big when they were in high school. They were dreaming fine when they were in middle school. But they go out there into the real world and get a job and they compete and they realize they can't make it. They stop dreaming. And if you're not dreaming, you probably don't have much ups and downs happening in your life. And you're dead. My mentor said, Danny, why don't you start living again? Downs is good. Ups is good. And going through a challenge is what's fun in life. And I'm telling you, if you're getting started with this tonight, I'm telling you, you're going to go through some ups and downs. And because of that, your life is going to be more exciting than it's ever been. So if you're taking a look at the opportunity for the first time, get started with us. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Can you imagine seeing this and not doing this? Let's just say you did this tonight. Let's just be negative, okay? Let's all think negative. Worst case scenario. You get started with this tonight. You don't get any customers. You don't do anything. You're not going to make any money if you don't do anything. Would you agree with that? Is that fair? How many of you think it's fair if you do nothing, you're not going to make anything? How many of you think that's fair? So you get started tonight, pay your $499, activate your online store, become a business owner, and you do nothing and you make nothing. Worst case scenario. Next year, when you file taxes, write off $499. It was business expense. But how does that change your life? You do this and you don't make any money. How does that change your life? It doesn't. You still work where you work. You still live where you live. Your life don't change. 20 years from now, how did it impact your life? It doesn't. Your kids or grandkids come up to you and say, hey, I want to go to college. Can you help me with expensive tuition? Are you going to say this? Honey, sit down. I got to talk to you. I'd love to help you with your tuition, but 20 years ago, I invested my last $499 into this business. And I didn't do anything. I didn't make any money. So I'm trying to recover my $499 from 20 years ago. So I can't help you, honey. Is that what you're going to say? No, of course not. The reality is if you do this, and if worst case scenario, your life don't change. How many of you how many of you have spent over $500 in things in the last 9 months this year that has zero chance of making you a millionaire? How many of you ladies can walk into your closet right now and see more than $500 worth of mistakes you haven't touched for the last 3 years? But you're scared to try this? That doesn't even make sense. Best case scenario, what if you do this and you become next Tom Murray? What if you become the next millionaire in ACN? So worst case scenario, your life don't change, and best case scenario, you could live your dreams, probably lifestyle that's better than your dreams. Is there a reason not to do this? I don't convince anybody to do it. If you talk to me one-on-one, I'll probably talk you out of it. I said, you sure? Because I tell people, if you're not going to work, don't do it. If you're not going to commit at least an hour a day to do this, don't do it. Why would you sign up and waste your time and waste your money? We don't want anybody wasting time or money. Does that make sense? But I'm telling you, you ask yourself, and if you see it, you get started. We don't have time, so here's what we're going to do. Whoever brought you here, as we wrap this thing up, they're going to simply ask you 3 questions. Are you an A or B or C? A simply means, I want to take action, I see an opportunity with ACN, I want to get started. If that's your answer, they're going to help you get started and fill out your application, activate your online store tonight, and get your business started. If you're B, simply, you have maybe questions. If you have questions, ask questions. Get a couple of your questions answered. But you're not going to get all the questions answered because it's impossible to figure everything out before you start anything. Would you agree with that? But don't let a single question or a couple questions hold you back from getting involved in something this magnitude. That'll be silly. So if you're B, just make a decision. Either be an A or be C. C simply means, hey, you know what? It's not for me. I'm not looking for a plan B. I don't want to be financially independent. I already have a plan that's going to take me there. That's fine. Hey, we respect it. We're okay with that. We don't have any problem with that. But at least somebody who brought you here cared enough about you and they brought you here. And they are serious about this opportunity. So why don't you at least become a customer? They have what's called customer survey form. You could write information on there and find out how much you're paying on all your bills, and they'll analyze it for you, and they'll figure out what services you could enroll in ACN to save yourself some money or and help your friend's business at the same time. Does that make sense to you? So every single one of us are either one, A or B or C, and you just got to communicate that to whoever brought you here. Get started with us. We have an event happening in San Jose in California in early December, which is going to be a powerful convention. We want to encourage you guys to be there as well. Get back to the person who brought you here. Get started with us. Let me bring up Mr. Pavley to close the meeting so he can give you an announcement on when the next event is going to be as well. God bless all of you. I look forward to seeing you all of you at the top. Thank you very much for having me. We'll see you guys next time.
Oh man. Let me ask you guys a question right now, real quick. How many of you tonight wish you had 10 of your friends here with you tonight? Who here wishes you had 25 or 50 of your friends and family people you care about? Share with me. Let us do that. Just say, hey,
I screen them. Are you open to making extra money outside of your busy schedule? If they're like, no,
oh, you say, next. Guys, it's easier to give birth than resurrect the dead, okay? They say no, you say next. If they're like, yeah, what you got? Say, hey, just come with me. I met some successful people. You gotta get this information. Trust me, it's not a waste of your time. You show up on Thursday. If they're like, what is it? If you gotta give them a jelly bean, if you gotta give them a pearl, if you gotta give them a sip, just say, hey, it involves the credit card industry, 7.5 trillion. To the person on your left, say, are you excited?